remember back a long time ago, as our runners get underway here, Casual Tom and Crab Cakes did match up in the group stage, and it was a tight 4-game set between these runners.
Crab Cake's trying to figure out the best place to go. Casual Tom just deciding to go through the woods of Joe, apparently.
Oh yeah, this is a little rough, but the Joe armors, at least, taking 1 or 2 hits to get rid of, definitely the big threat. The Sniper Joes on themselves, not that bad when it comes to taking edge. Looks like we're having a little bit of a resync here to get the timers lined up. Oh no, my internet has just decided to cut out on me. Ay.
Don't worry, I've got you covered right now. Casual Tom taking care of the hot dogs. Crab Cakes getting past the change key makers, I think they're called. Why are they called change keys when they throw hot balls of fire? I don't know, but it is time for more quick beams of death.
Yeah, I think it's Chanky, but, you know, something about, like, a Japanese word for fire or something like that, but I'm completely making stuff up at this point. Looks like I'm back. Casual Tom is into the bamboo section. Crab Cakes is, dodging some lasers.
Dodging no more, now we have to deal with, Bunny Rabbot's evil clones. Doing well with that. And now, who is actually behind Quickman's door? I believe the Robot Masters are all randomized at this point.
Well, Quickman could be behind the door, since it is randomized, but it certainly looks like Crashman to me.
That is definitely an interesting fashion choice. Give it 7 out of 10.
Oh, I think you're a little more generous than I am when it comes to fashion, but it looks like Casual Tom just gonna say, nope, you got me this time, Woodman, I can't take a hit, so not worth the bother trying to fight that fight.
Alright. Crab Cake's getting the Atomic Blast, which may not be the actual thing, but hey, we at least have our item 1 as Woodman now goes down. And we get the Elo Beam. The names of the weapons are randomized, they don't really matter as much, but what matters is the effects.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of the effect, they are randomized, surprisingly, since this is a randomizer. For example, the air shooter can shoot from any number of 1 to 3 projectiles, and the arc that those projectiles have could be very generous or not so much with how they arc and how quickly they actually move.
I feel like this is one of the Game Boy Mega Man tracks, but it may just be my ears playing tricks on me.
There's so many games that are part of the randomizer soundtrack that it may not entirely be a Mega Man game at all. Although, I think LV Creed is actually in the chat, who is the person I would pin as being the resident expert on the Mega Man tracks, and he does confirm that it is a Game Boy track. Hardman from Mega Man 2 Game Boy.
Well, that explains why this tune feels so superior. Anyway, we've gotten through Bubble Man's spiky rooms of death. Crab Cakes has to be careful, though, down to 1 hit to death. I don't know of any enemy that deals only 1 damage, but we are good. Crab Cakes can take an emergency 10-coin loss to get their health back.
Yeah, I think Crab Cakes is going to end up likely taking Casual Tom's route in the first boss fight and just saying, alright, you got me. Crab Cake's just not even trying. Just, nope. I'm gonna take the L.
Airman? I didn't realize that you became Magnet Man when stuck to spikes.
I'm actually surprised he came down from there. Usually he just says, haha, you can't hit me, and doesn't even bother to come back down. But, yeah, this is one of those strange properties of the stages, Bubble Man specifically, where the boss will just kind of jump up and grab onto the spikes. And both of our runners awarded with item 2.
It's a shame we don't have Rush Jet in this game, but... Okay, this is Mega Man 7 music, I'm pretty sure.
You are much better than I am when it comes to identifying Mega Man music, that's for certain.
Hey, I may not be the biggest skilled player when it comes to this rando, but I like the music variety, so shoutouts to... I'm trying to remember, I believe it's Duckfist that made this rando?
You are correct.
Anyway, Flashman stage... It's behaving well enough. Enemies seem decent right now.
Well, here's where it really matters for Casual Tom. It looks like he's gonna ride the item 2 train to another E-Tank, and it looks like Crabcake's going to do the exact same thing. One thing I want to point out is that Casual Tom did not test the crash wall, and it looks like Crabcakes is also opting not to test the crash wall.
Guess we'll do the testing later. In the meantime, Flashman, I am sorry, but that color palette does not suit- Wait, how'd you get up, down, the
all the fun things that can happen when you forget to put a ceiling in your room.
Okay, just enjoy your plug bomber, folks.
Yeah, nothing else to see here. Casual Tom ends up into Quickman stage and Crabcakes into Woodman. So we're actually going to see where our runners are with each other, because they will have 4 stages completely in common completed once they finish their respective stage. So we can get a little bit of a preview of who's ahead of who at this point.
Honestly, I have to give the slight edge to Casual Tom on this one, because Quickman stage is typically shorter. That, and we also have to remember, this is a zipless tournament. While normally, if you were to play this any percent, you could just start zipping yourself in the wall. We have item 1 and item 2 to make it all happen. We kind of disallow that, and depending on the severity of the zip, it can result in loss of time, loss of life, or even loss of game.
Yeah, we've surprisingly seen very few zips, accidental or otherwise, in this tournament. I think most of the zips have actually ended up happening in Heatman stage and ending up depositing the runner into an abyss, which, well, is a time penalty all of its own, as Crabcake's waiting for the enemies to show up in specific points to just kind of damage boost through these jumps. And at this point, I am going to agree with you. Casual Tom into the boss fight. Crabcake's still a little ways to go before making their way to the boss.
Our Leaf Shield equivalent does deal some respectable damage to Crashman. Now, we are playing on the easy difficulty of this, so at minimum our Buster Shots deal 2 damage. Ideally, some of these Robot Masters will take 4, but I think Crashman is one of the resilient ones.
You are right. There's 4 bosses that will take 4 damage from the Buster. Crashman is not one of those 4. So when you get a boss that only takes 2 damage, it's very likely that you're going to potentially hunt for items. Crabcake's just motoring through Woodman at the end of Woodman's stage, so Casual Tom into Metal Man, and Crabcake's now into Metal Man's stage as well. So, you know, you can see the runners. I usually like to reserve judgment for where the runners are, you know, once we see Dr. Wily at the end of the 8 Robot Masters. But here, we have the runners up against, you know, a similar path, and, well, for now at least, Casual Tom is slightly ahead.
We do have to remember that at the beginning of this match, Crabcakes chose to reset multiple times just to figure out where certain Robot Masters were. Casual Tom just decided to go for it. And right now, I think that's the big difference, if anything. I'm not seeing any major mistakes from anyone. Both had one intentional health refill on just one Robot Master. And these two are playing it... They're playing their hearts out, or their WD-40 out. How does this work when we're playing as Robot Masters?
Well, I'm not too sure about that, but what I am sure about is Crabcakes actually does use that strategy of resetting 3 times at the beginning of a stage, or excuse me, a beginning of the seed, to figure out where certain Robot Masters are or potentially are not. You know, Casual Tom, for whatever reason, has avoided both of the whammies in Heatman and Crashman stage so far. So, you know, Crabcake's strategy of trying to find where the bad stages are, or at least where they aren't, unfortunately not working out this time.
I have to ask another clarification of the rules. This is a zipless tournament. We just got a weapon named Joka Zip. So, does that mean they are forbidden from using Bubble Man's weapon?
Ooh, well, I mean, one of our tournament admins was in chat. We may have to defer to LV Creed on that one. That's actually, you know, one of those fine print issues that, you know, wouldn't surprise me one way or the other, but, you know, maybe LV Creed can give us some insight.
Okay, as long as the player is not zipped, just the weapon, it's fine.
Now, it looks like Casual Tom has actually found the Metal Blade, and somewhat useful here in disposing of the enemies. So we see Casual Tom making pretty good work here of progressing through the Airman stage. Although Crabcakes is actually caught up, and now just a refill animation away from, you know, getting to the boss door.
The doors are synced!
This is so insane. Casual Tom, you know, maybe an eye blink ahead of Crabcakes right now. But Casual Tom able to do a good bit of damage here to Metal Man, turning his own weapon against him. Crabcakes finding the Leaf Shield, doing massive damage, so Crabcakes might have a little bit of a advantage going into the boss refights.
And now we have our final mini-split. Crashman versus Heatman. Now we have the X-Series music into play.
Alright, well, the good thing here is Casual Tom and Crabcakes all have item 1, 2, and 3. Crabcakes just getting battered around here with the Shotmen and Sniper Joes just coming from all directions.
This would be a good time to consider E-Tank or item 2 usage, whereas Casual Tom can just item 1 their way up.
Well, it looks like Crabcakes has survived the initial onslaught, as it were, now into the second half of the stage, and it looks like Crabcakes utilizing item 1. Not a bad strategy at all, but I think missing out on a potential opportunity to test the crash walls to give a potential advantage going forward. We know that the Boo Beam turrets at the end of Wily 4 do require knowledge of the crash walls more than likely, so we'll see how it plays out, excuse me.
I think both words make sense there. In any event, we do have to remember that Heatman's stage is typically faster than Crashman's, so even though Crabcakes is about to face the Robot Master first, this does not mean an automatic lead yet.
Well, Tom is not really using his item 3 to a good advantage here, but you know what, he is using it at least, but I think Crabcakes taking a death is not going to help, so, you know, I don't... that's one of those in-between kind of moments where you're going, okay, I could have used a safety sludge, but instead, you know, didn't. Crabcakes does find the air shooter, so another useful weakness for the refights being found by Crabcakes.
Yeah, I think Crabcakes was testing the weaknesses while health was low, and, you know, just so happened that air shooter was found after respawning. Anyway, Heatman. Not the fastest Psycho Crusher, but hey, we'll take it.
Yeah, this will be a pretty quick 7-cycle kill from Casual Tom. Heatman being one of the 4 Buster vulnerable robots that take 4 damage is, you know, one of those thumbs up, yes please, thank you, may I have another. Oh no, Crabcakes, that is a long time stopper. That didn't seem to use very much ammo. Alright, Crabcakes switching to the Metal Blades, so should be able to make their way through the rest of the elevator boards here as Casual Tom dealing with the Sniper Joe onslaught. Oh, Casual Tom, you can't do that!
No, what Casual Tom was trying to do was hit themselves on the pellet to then gain more health in the end, but they missed the shot. I appreciated the attempt, but unfortunately, that was the one time you wanted to be hit by a projectile.
Oh, I always cringe when I see someone picking up an energy pellet, weapon, or life, and they're in the lava because the iframes only last so long. And for those that may not know, the iframes expire potentially while the health is refilling. And if that happens, the game goes, oh, you're in lava. Bye. You're dead.
Okay, I did forget about that little detail.
So I'm not sure if Casual Tom would have even benefited from being hit and pulling off the strategy that you specified. That's why, right when I saw him jump down, my first instinct is, no, you can't do that. And unfortunately, for Casual Tom, we saw why. So Crabcake's actually gonna lose a little bit of time here, not using the Buster, which would, you know, have profited a little bit better on Heatman, as Crabcakes is struggling to find an effective weapon.
But finally using the Buster and gets through. As such, not only is Crabcakes in the lead, but I think it's time we have a little bit of fun. First of all, the traditional eyebrow wiggle. Thank you, Dr. Wily. Why don't you talk about the game?
Oh, I have to do it again? Oh my.
Alright, I'll do it. Alright, so chat, we like to have a little bit of fun here with the upcoming boss, the Mecha Dragon. As you can tell, all of our robot masters have undergone a sense of fashion changes, and so has our dragon. What you need to tell us is what colors and what weakness.
Alright, so it looks like the guesses are coming in fast and furious from the chat. So I always start out with the bubble lead, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a green dragon and the bubble lead.
I'm going to say woodmen with more blue than green.
Alright, so blue and leaf shield as opposed to green and bubble lead. Alright. Let's see if either of us are right or if we're just horribly wrong. There's a pretty good chance of either, to be honest. And it looks like both of our runners are making their way through the Wily climb now to the dragon. Crabcakes is about a screen ahead at this point.
Now, if there is one thing that's annoying about the dragon, there's no checkpoint right before the boss, if I recall correctly.
You are very much so correct, and this is the case for all of the Wily stages, in fact. That if you take an L to the boss, you are deposited all the way back at the midpoint checkpoint.
Joys of still being tied to its arcade roots.
Yeah, well, don't die in a Wily boss, but ooh, that looks pretty green to me, so I think I got part of it at least. So let's see if we can live the Christmas miracle and see some bubble lead action. Oh, it's not Metal Blade. Oh, no Crash Bomb. Oh, Leaf Shield's one of them.
But Casual Tom just, I think that was also Leaf Shield. So, between the two of us, we're greater than the sum of each other?
Fair enough. I will allow that. Actually...
we were both right on weapons!
Oh, wow. So Tom actually got it with bubble lead, chat is saying. Wow, so with all that said, Casual Tom does take a very small lead coming out of Wily 1 and into Wily 2. So Casual Tom skipping the refills, Crabcake's gonna lose a couple seconds here picking up the minor refills. It's like neither runner bothering to stop. Crabcake's... Oh, there we go. Metal Blade on the Robbits. Casual Tom using a Leaf Shield as his lead blocker through the corridor here.
Well, at least we don't have to worry about the chandelier spikes. As we approach the... I forget the names of these things, but the two things that come apart together with 3 or 4 weapon weaknesses, you know the one. Look at Casual Tom's side.
Yes, I do. Yeah, Casual Tom starting the Picotan boss fight. And looks like Metal Blade's a no. Crabcake starting with the Buster, that's also a no. Ooh, Air Shooter for Casual Tom and Crabcakes being found almost at the same time, but it looks like Casual Tom is 1 block ahead. No! Crabcakes in the lead now. Wow!
It just swapped. Yeah, this is going to be a very close match at the end. That's how I like it.
Absolutely. Now, one thing to note. The same rule does apply to the match that they had a couple months ago in the beginnings of the tournament. I mistakenly identified it as the first match, but it was not. I believe it was actually the 3rd match overall in the beginning of the group stage, where they did have a tie game for their first game. Oh no!
You shouldn't have mentioned that detail.
Well, where I was trying to go with it was, if the runners end up within 3 seconds of each other, then this particular game in the match will be considered a draw and replayed. So, with how close these runners are, it's happened once already when they faced off against each other the first time. It would not shock me if we saw another draw, and possibly a Game 4, or even a Game 5, with how close these runners are, being needed to, decide this race.
Now we are approaching Dr. Wily's favorite robot master, Gutsman.
Looks like Casual Tom finding the Metal Blade.
As we welcome in SpeedGaming, we are currently in the Mega Man 2 randomizer group stages, I believe, between Casual Tom and Crap.
This is no longer the group stage.
Oh.
This is actually a losers match. The loser will finish the tournament in a tie with Charlie Boy for 5th and 6th place. The winner will move on to face Metalo in the 4th place match.
Goodness, I've fallen behind. I apologize.
Yeah, you blink your eyes and then a whole bunch of matches happen. We are now at the Wily 4 stage. Some call it the Great Equalizer. There's a couple various names for this particular stage, but I call it the Great Equalizer.
I can kind of see why. Those platforms were definitely not as solid compared to the vanilla game. And Casual Tom just hop, skipping, and jumping across, just somehow knowing where to go. I didn't see a weapon usage there.
No, that's actually... If you jump on those specific spots that Casual Tom did, this, I believe, was discovered a little while ago. I want to credit Prodigy as being the first one to show it on a race, but I'm not sure if he's the one that found it or not. There is one invisible block in that spike section, and Charlie Boy unfortunately found it in the race this morning, falling to his doom. But with that said, if you jump in very specific spots, you cannot fall, because you'll either be on one block or another, and stand somewhere in the middle. Either your left foot or your right foot's on firm ground, so no risk of falling into the spiky pit below.
Casual Tom getting through the platforming and is now in the Buyu Beam. I know I butchered that pronunciation. What's the weakness?
Well, it looks like Metal Blade for the Boo Beam turrets. Casual Tom should be no. Yeah, gonna have to use an item 1 here. Wait for it to expire. And now should be able to finish off the rest of these Boo Beam turrets.
So, what was that about needing the crash wall?
Yeah, I guess, not so much for needing to know the crash wall weakness, as we got one of the most favorable Boo Beam turret weaknesses available. And here we go, Casual Tom into the boss refight. Now, Crabcakes is a little bit behind, and Crabcakes does know some of the weaknesses that Casual Tom may not know, so a potential to make up some time here, as Airman is just like, leave me alone, I want to cling to my ceiling, just let me be.
Both runners taking opposite direction approaches, nothing wrong with that, as this is one of the Game Boy Mega Man 2 tracks. I could just tell. I mean, I do appreciate that we're not hearing the boss music over and over again, but, oi, Mega Man 2 for Game Boy, why did you have to be designed like this?
Alright, looks like both of our runners are about to handshake. Yeah, here we go. Here's the quick little handshake between our runners, both in the Metal Man fight, for maybe a couple seconds. Casual Tom on the back half. Excuse me, words are hard. Crabcakes also on the back half of Robot Masters.
Very low health. I would have considered taking the health from Woodman right there.
Now, Crabcakes is going to try to save the E-Tanks that she has. Casual Tom does have 3 E-Tanks, but Crabcakes, I want to say a veteran of other speedrunning games, so definitely knows the virtue of trying to save time wherever they can. Uh-oh, Crabcakes may have forgotten the weakness that they found. Oh, Time Stopper actually doing some work here on... just... Wow.
How I wish I could use that on M. Bison.
Oh, yay. Casual Tom finding an easy mode Wily machine here, so... We're gonna come into Victory Road with the runners maybe 5 to 10 seconds apart. Maybe 15 at worst.
Yeah, that late death by Crabcakes may be the difference maker.
Yeah, unfortunately, that death not going to help things. Casual Tom spawning in 3104. Of course, the times are unofficial until we get the SRL times. Casual Tom dropping down to the right into Victory Road.
Alright, let's see. I have my strength, I have my dive, I have... Wait a second. Where's the water? Where's the rocks?
Alright, so it looks like a 20-second gap between Casual Tom and Crabcakes right now. So every little thing kind of adds up, and for now, we've got one last variable. Can we find the weapon that we need to take down the alien? And it looks like Casual Tom has found it. It's Leaf Shield.
And just enough ammo to do so. Avert your eyes for just a moment as Casual Tom locks it in with an official SRL time of 31 minutes, 57 seconds.
Yeah, get those GGs in the chat. Casual Tom is your winner for Game 1. Of course, this is a best 2 out of 3 match, so Casual Tom still has another game to win, as we see Crabcakes finishing up. About 25-30 seconds behind, if you would do the honors for the time.
Yes, Crabcakes has an official SRL time of 32 minutes, 22 seconds. That final death in the refights, I think, prevented a possible tie.
No, that death maybe cost about 5 or 6 seconds. I don't think it was that much of a factor, but at the end of it all, it's a drop in the bucket, and eventually those little drops add up something. And unfortunately for Crabcakes, it is an L in Game 1 of this match. So probably, runners are gonna, reset themselves, go, all right, breathe, relax, do what they gotta do, get themselves ready for Game 2, and we should have Game 2 coming up in just a couple minutes.
In the meantime, please do not forget to follow our runners, Casual Tom and Crabcakes. They have given us a wonderful show so far. And of course, do not forget about my commentary partner, Frico, who is handling this very professionally, and our tracker, 2% Chungus.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. Well, it looks like Casual Tom is just ready to jump right in. It looks like, got this next seed loaded up, and wow. Looks like we're going to have a pretty quick turnaround here, as both runners seem to be chomping at the bit, ready to get Game 2 underway.
If that's the case, we may want to make sure... I'm going to make sure that my volume's set up correctly. So... give me one moment, folks. Because I think these runners do want to take off quickly.
Yeah, it looks like we're ready to go at this point. I can hear audio from the game. Chungus clearing out the tracker resetting it for game 2.
And yeah,